All right, last week we learned first things first. If you want anything to happen, you're going to first have to go to the source, because that's where everything is, and nothing ever leaves the source. And so when I'm in the source, I am with everything, I am everything, I have everything, and I'm able to give everything. So first things first, right? From Charles Fillmore, his wonderful master work called Prosperity. He says, in bringing forth a manifestation of God's abundant supply, take the first step by saying, let there be light. Let there be light. So you're taking the first step in co-creating, creating from the divine essence, light, which is also understanding. You must have a clear perception of the principle in back of the proposition, God will provide. We often say, oh, God will provide, God will. Not if we're not providing the light of the substance. If we think the substance is coming out of nowhere, it's not going to happen. It's not coming out of nowhere. It's coming out of everywhere. The substance is in you. It's what you are. You are divine substance. And you're manifesting what you are. You're manifesting from the invisible substance that you already have and are. You're not a slave to the form. You're in service to the substance. Isn't that wonderful? So that's what we're going to learn today is the actual difference between desire or let's say false desire and true purpose. We're going to take a look at some things today that I really have had on my mind lately. And that's the idea of prosperity and abundance. Because we often think that prosperity is an abundance of manifest form. But it's not that. First things first. It's abundance of the awareness of the light that's within us. And the ability to shape that substance into whatever our hearts desire. Into the beautiful expression of God that we were meant to create here on earth. We weren't meant to be in conflict. We weren't meant to be in lack and limitation. We weren't meant to be arguing with each other. We weren't meant to be judging one another. We were meant to learn how to join together in the recognition that you are God and I am God, and together we are creating God. Together we're creating love, because that's what we are. But we're only that together. I'm only that when I recognize it in you. It was Yogi Bhajan, I think, who said, if you don't see God in all, you can't see God at all. That's pretty simple. That's what I love. I love those simple statements. So the one universal, eternal substance of God, which is the source of all, must be discerned and relied on. That is the first step, first things first. You rely on the eternal substance of God. And while dependence on material things must be eliminated from thought. Oh, this is great. I love it. Are you ready? So long as you depend on money alone, you are worshiping a false god and have not discerned light. Money is just a form that we use to let the light travel. Isn't that great? We're putting light into it. And I said, I'm going to give you some light. And I'm really giving it from me to you. So there'll be a time where you don't need the form, right? You won't need the vehicle. But for now, let's use whatever vehicle we have at our disposal. I love it. But don't make it a false god. Don't make it the end of what you're seeking. What I'm seeking actually is to discover myself through joining with you. That's what I'm really seeking. And so as long This is Charles Fillmore. As long as you depend on money alone, you're worshiping a false god and have not discerned the light. You must first enter into an understanding that God, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, is the source, and that you can draw on this source without limit. If you have established that light, you have begun your demonstration. And then you can go on to the second step. So establishing the light is the first step. That's what we were talking about last week. The second step would be giving it away, right? That's how I continue to live. I will give, and it will be given unto me. But not just any old giving. It's going to be given to me good measure, pressed down, shaken together, filling me up, running over. So it says men, but everyone will give unto your, it says unto your bosom, unto your heart. I love that. For with the same measure that you give, it will be measured to you again. Again means again and again and again and again and again. Whatever you're giving, look at how many people are here. If I'm giving to all of me, to each and every one of you, look how much is going to come back. All of you in all of this manifest form, multiplicity. It's amazing. Don't be afraid to give. Give all of you to everyone all the time, and it will be given to you. And this is a law. This is a spiritual law. The more I withhold, the more I'm withholding from myself. And that's not abundance, and that's not prosperity. I could have a billion numbers in the bank, and they're just numbers of nothing. They're just accumulated fear. That's all that is. But if I'm using it for good in the world, what is it? It's abundance of good. It's not accumulating fear. It's abundance of good. And that's what I'm giving, and that's what is given back to me. And I love it because it's always coming, and most particularly in surprising ways. In incredibly surprising ways does it come back. I remember yesterday when there was the sharing in Tom's celebration, and for me the most touching of all was when our young friend Lori came up. Wasn't that amazing? And how eloquent she was.
Right to the heart.
Right to the heart. And taught the most profound truths about life and death in about 30 seconds. Now, people may call her special. She is. She has special abilities. And we don't see them because what we call them are disabilities. We've had it all turned around, my friends. And when we look for the special ability, then we give space for something like that to happen. And she gave me more than I possibly could have thought in that moment. I thought, how could you say that so perfectly? Yeah, I've been trying to do this. I've done far too many celebrations in the last 3 years of people passing. And I don't think I could have expressed that as well. And so the abundance of love is given you in so many ways, in so many beautiful ways. And the other thing I learned about Tom's celebration is we didn't talk about substance or manifest substance at all. What we talked about was inner substance, the substance of that man, the substance of his relationship with us, the substance of what he gave to the world. It's so huge. It's impossible to put it in specific forms that are going to be meaningful. You're going to have to carry it in the substance of your heart. You're going to have to carry it and give it to others through the same loving example. And so that's the type of abundance that I'm talking about. And all of the forms that we need to share that substance of love will be given us. Yes, the money will come. It's always there. Any vehicle we need. Divine ideas. I didn't need money to put a solar system on top of our roof. We could have a state-of-the-art solar electric generation system on this building. It was finished on Saturday. All I did was ask for what I wanted. They were like, well, this is what it costs. This could be $70,000, or maybe more. This, amount of panels and all of this, and more, yeah. This probably is more. It's probably more like $100,000. But I said at the time, so what's the other options? Well, the other options might be to get investors from your community and raise the money to do it. What's the other options? Well, the other options might be to lease the system for a little while. And he says, well, this is what I want. I would love to have a system on this roof that we don't put up any money at all, and you pay our electric bill. And they said, oh, well, we'll work on that. We'll figure it out. And within a week, they called me back. And they says, we've got a great proposal for you. We'll get investors to buy the system. They will own it, and we'll lease your roof for a certain amount of electricity. And we'll pay your bill for as long as you have this building. All I did was ask. What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? Just ask. Ask the universe for it, but make sure you ask somebody else too. Right? You might be asking the universe for more gigs, and there's a guy sitting right next to you that owns a venue that you can play in. You might be asking for, something, and there's somebody sitting right next to you that has it, that wants to give it to you. And I love these guys that just start giving to you, like Alan. He comes over we're neighbors now. This is really great to have neighbors like this, because he's so psychic. He comes over, he knocks on the door, says, you need some chairs? I got some chairs for you. Lily says, I was just thinking, I need some chairs. I mean, how did you... That was quick. My family's coming over tomorrow. We do need chairs. I mean, we weren't even thinking about the chairs, and he was psychically thinking they need chairs. I just love it. And so there's a lot of people in this community, at least, who think about giving first. And so you have developed a lifestyle of giving. And so that's why you're so happy. No wonder you're so happy. No wonder you're so healthy. No wonder you look so young and vibrant. No wonder you can heal people at just a glance sometimes. No wonder, because you're giving all the time. And that's really I feel, they're all important steps. The first is acknowledging God and manifesting the light. But the next part is, in order to keep it, give it away. I learned that in the 12 steps. In order to keep it, you have to give it away. In the Course in Miracles, it says, all I give is given unto myself. Now that's amazing. What a great idea that is. So in order to keep it, in order to live, I'm going to have to give. I got a new clicker. So giving's not just about making a donation. It's about making a difference. And so that's why I always make a point of telling everyone what's happening with your donations, what's going on, because you've given out of your heart. You've given us out of your abundant love. And I want you to know who you're loving with that gift. So I've made a book in the back of all the organizations that Unity tithes to. You can see what's going on around here. You can talk to your neighbors about what's going on in their lives. You can see how far not only you have come, but your neighbor has come in the last 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. And that's the beauty of having a community. We can really make a difference in each other's lives. And then make a difference in the community. And we are becoming a shining light in this community. And sometimes you think, oh, it's going so slow. We need all this outreach. No, we need to manifest light. Let there be light. It's a spiritual community. It's not a business. It's not a social club. It's a spiritual community. And we have great social events. And yes, we do have to manage the money. But we have to manage it as a form of light, not as money, as a form of light. So when you are donating, you are making a difference because you're actually are saying, let there be light in this place. And you are turning on the lights, literally, sometimes. And now that our lights will be turned on for free, we can use that substance for even deeper spiritual growth. So I love it. It's about making a difference. Make a difference in the life of the one sitting next to you and then the community. And you really do. I'm really grateful for that. So from our 21-day prosperity experiment, I wanted to read you something. This is Reverend Anonymous. Every day I am offered many opportunities to give. When I stay awake and aware of what I can give to the world, I realize the unique gifts that I have. And that's the way that Spirit is expressing love and healing and prosperity through me. Because you are unique, and Spirit is expressing uniquely through you. We need you. We need you desperately to express that love and healing and prosperity. We need you to do that. What are you spending your time doing? If it's not feeling so good at any moment, remember, this is your true profession: to give, to extend, to be a unique expression of the healing and the love and the prosperity. And I know you'll be happy doing it because we live in a limitless universe with limitless potential for unlimited ideas. You know, this idea of this is great because it's a physical manifestation. This idea of putting a solar system on this building, started, Martha said one day in a community conversations, she says, why haven't we put solar on this building yet? I don't understand. And then another day, Paul brings this proposal from a solar company with solar electric car charging stations and all this other stuff. And I checked it out, and it wasn't really fitting for, somehow we couldn't get that to work. But then Jack calls me, or I'm talking to him that day about music. And he tells me about this beautiful system he's putting on his house. And he says, give this lady a call. And so I called them, and they ended up being the people, My Generation Energy, who put it on this building. So it's all like this perfect divine dance that each person has a part. And what I'm saying is that we don't have to be alone in this dance. We need to share these principles with everyone because they work. We need to share these principles and demonstrate that they work. Everything's just an idea. Kathy has an idea of Tom Walsh Memorial Garden right out back. And we collected money for it yesterday instead of flowers. And so they're going to plant beautiful things that will bloom all year. Well, maybe not in the winter, but every year. What are they, perennials and nice bushes? It's just a beautiful garden because it's an idea in Kathy's heart and mind. And so she will make that manifest. She's begun to make that manifest. Our friend David Long is still with us every single day through this stained glass because Paula said, we don't want flowers. We want to create something that's going to last, a memory for David Long. And so we took all the money that would have gone towards flowers or something else, and we had a local artist create this beautiful stained glass for us. And there's many, many, many other beautiful, wonderful ideas. And they are going to manifest according to the highest good for everyone. That's what I love, is that I don't have to be stuck on the particular form that it's manifest in. I trust the universe, and I trust all of you to allow it to manifest in a way that's for everyone's highest good and for everyone's deepest desire. And in that way, we also pray for the world, that everything in this world unfolds and is manifested for everyone's highest good and fulfills everyone's deepest desire, because we're all equal in that desire and in that worthiness. Everyone is worthy of abundance and prosperity, and that's why we need to give in order to receive, in order to live. And these unlimited ideas are coming, and they're manifesting in such beautiful ways. If there's any limits, it's your consciousness that's setting the limits. It's always funny because whenever somebody has this amazing idea, you go, well, I don't know how we're going to do that. Don't worry about that. I always say, okay, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I definitely love that. I just love to do things. I love to spread joy, and I love it. I love to make things manifest. I love to build things. I love to fix things. I love to paint things. I love to give things away. I love to, like Alan, I love to think, what does that person need? I'm going to see if I have some of that. Or I'll go get some if I don't, and I'll give it to you. You know, I just love doing that. It just makes me happy. Call me crazy, but if I'm holding on to something, it just doesn't have as much value as if I give it to you. It has a lot more value if I give it away. So I'm only setting the limits by the limitation of my own consciousness, what I've learned in the past, the limitations I may have grown up learning. And you can unlearn that like that. And I'm going to teach you how to do it, but not this week, next week. We'll have a workshop next week. There are no limitations. We're just building up more energy for it. So here we go. We're unlimited. We're not going to set those limits anymore. We're going to use our words, our prayers, to plant seeds that we drop into the invisible spiritual substance. This is Charles Fillmore. I'm teaching a lot from Charles Fillmore today because he's the co-founder of Unity. And it has an amazing tradition. This stuff he wrote 100 years ago. Drop the seeds of your mind, the power of your words, your prayers, into the invisible substance, and they will bring forth after their kind the highest good for everyone. Is that what your words are representing? The love, the compassion that you want to feel? Give that to everyone. Plant it in the invisible substance. That's prayer and meditation, my friends. How much time do we spend daily doing that? I have to do it. If I don't do it, I go crazy looking at what's going on out there and how to fix it. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to get fixed this way, or maybe it'll get fixed. No, it's not. It's only going to disappear when I focus on what's true. Then the illusion will disappear. The illusion of separation will disappear if I keep my mind focused on what's true. So I need to take responsibility for my own awakening. When I do that, when I take responsibility for my own awakening and transformation, I'm directly impacting humanity's awakening. Your personal evolution is what's needed in order to change the world, it says, for the world to change. I would say to recognize the real world and bring that into manifestation. I'm not really trying to change the world. I'm just trying to let go of the world that doesn't serve me and accept the one that does. Because there is a real world all around us right now. It's right here, right now, and it's perfect. And you're free, and you're unlimited, and you're loved, and you are love itself. And that's the real world. And everything else, it's false. It doesn't really exist. You can let it go. Don't give it any value. Don't be a slave to it anymore. Okay, here we go. You ready for the next step? How am I going to treat others? Well, there are no others, of course. Now, come on, though. I mean, isn't that all the problems of the world, thinking that you are somebody else? I love it. There's a line in the Course that says, when you realize the truth of who you are, you're going to laugh at the time when you met someone else and you thought they were someone else. You're going to laugh. Wow, I thought you were somebody else. How silly was I? And so Charles Fillmore, 100 years ago, he says, divine mind is the one and only reality. Divine mind is your reality. It's my reality. It's the one and only reality. He says spiritual discernment, which was what we were talking about before, reveals that we are now in the dawn of a new era. That the old methods of supply and support are fast passing away, and that the new methods are waiting to be brought forth. In the coming commerce, man will not be a slave to money. Humanity's daily needs will be met in ways that are not now thought practical. We shall serve for the joy of serving, and prosperity will flow to us through streams of plenty. The supply and the support of love and zeal set in motion are not yet largely used by man, but those who have tested their providing power are loud in their praise. That is an amazing idea, that we will welcome forth a new way of receiving, of giving and receiving, of receiving our supply, that we won't need a form to share that energy. We don't need it now, but it seems that in our limitation, we have to use a form to manifest the energy in order to give it to you. But if I'm just serving you and giving to you constantly on a daily basis, all our needs are met. We live in an unnatural form of existence where we think we're all separate and we need to provide for ourselves. It's unnatural. We are meant to be, we are cooperating and cohabitating beings. And we were meant to live together as one and to support one another. And we do in this community demonstrate the viability of that. In every spiritual community, they're using the law of tithing in order to demonstrate that when we give to our source of spiritual food, we are given everything we need and more. And it's an old teaching. The Upanishads said, who sees all beings in his own self, and his own self in all beings, will lose all fear. And that's all it is. We're afraid. We're afraid we won't have anything left. We're afraid if we don't accumulate, if I give it away, I won't have anything left. But if you're seeing all beings in yourself and yourself in all beings, your fear falls away. It's gone. No one has ever become poor by giving. No one. And that's our fear. That if we give, we're not going to have it. And it's just the opposite. I don't even know I have it until I start giving it away. And so, before Jesus came along, way back in the Old Testament, in Malachi, they realized that in order for a society or a group of people to survive, we needed to bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much a blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. It's a spiritual law. It's spiritual substance. Let there be light. Let that light manifest in every possible way for you. Receive all that you were meant to receive and share it with others. And there won't be room enough that you can store it. You'll have to just keep giving it away because you won't be able to store it up. And that's what I love about it. If I can't store anything, I can't even keep, at the end of the day, my wallet is empty. I'm not kidding. I find a way to give it away no matter how much is in there. And I'm lucky we have Liz because she won't let that happen to our bank account. But it's really cool because I can't stop giving. There's just too many ways to give. There's too many amazing people that I want to give to. There's so many ideas that I have. I say, wow, when I get, more in the storehouse, I'm going to give it to this person, and I'm going to give it to this, and I'm going to set up a fund for this guy's child to go to college. And there's a lot of things going on in my mind in that regard. I saw a man recently, and this is the last example I'm going to give. I forget his name, and I should have researched this because I didn't know I was going to talk about it. He gave every person in this college free tuition. Do you guys remember that name? Yeah. Do you remember the guy who did that? He's African-American businessman? Smith, thank you. What was the college? Morehouse. Thank you. See, I know it. It was a test, really. I get all my material from you guys. So he gave everyone at Morehouse College their tuition. He paid for it. No student debt. He paid off all the student debt. Amazing. What a great idea. What a great giving. Now, how did that happen? A divine idea. I'm going to give this away. Why was this given to me? Oh, wow. I can do whatever I want with it? Oh, cool. I'm going to give it to you guys. And that's really, you know what? That's what I decided to do. We landed here, Lily and I've decided to give my life to you. That's it. Lily and I have made a commitment, a pact, a covenant, that our lives are dedicated to spiritual growth, unity on Cape Cod, unity worldwide, more importantly, you guys personally, and that everything that we receive or plan to receive in the future is going to that. There's nothing else important. There's nothing else to do except give it away. We're not really looking to accumulate anything. There's no other reason to be here but to say, let there be light. Let that light manifest in your life exactly the way that you need for your highest good. And let me help you to realize that it's available for you right now. And you can have whatever you desire. Whatever your heart desires is yours right here and right now. But if you want to keep it, you're going to have to give it away. Be blessed, my friends. Be a blessing.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.